Death isn't the end in Hades, it's the beginning. But with each new start comes the chance to go just a bit further. Hello friends, it's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and today I'll break down some of the biggest mistakes players make when playing Hades. There's only one real rule in Hades: survive. That being said, there are arguably better ways to go about doing that, and while I've seen some absolutely janky builds and techniques work, sometimes you just need to rely on the basics to get the job done, which is why I'm sharing some of my knowledge with you. Right off the bat, the mistake I see most often when watching YouTube videos or checking out streams is people playing way too aggressive. I don't blame them. The game's weapons encourage and reward more aggressive players, but only when they can effectively negate or avoid damage. Honest to God, I thought I was a pretty decent player during my first dozen or so runs, but I was never able to defeat Hades, and what I quickly realized was that enemies were chipping away at me so often because I was aggressive and careless that by the time I did get to the final boss, I wasn't able to outlast him. There are a number of solutions that can help with this issue. The first is obvious: play smart, not hard. Every weapon has a ranged component, and when things get a little intense, there's no shame in stepping back and letting those aspects of your build take over. Second, recognize that there are boons to help mitigate damage. Athena and Aphrodite are the two I'm really referring to here. Their boons are designed to reduce the damage you take as a player, so really lean into them if you're struggling to get through the game. Finally, you need to understand your limitations and focus on long-term goals. Are there players that can get through the game in just one run? Probably, but the vast majority of us are going to need to rely on the systems the game puts into place, like the Mirror of Night. And that segues perfectly into the second mistake I see players make: not taking advantage of the roguelike elements in the game. Hades is designed to be challenging, but by slowly upgrading, you'll find that the experience gets just a bit easier. I'll pop into a stream and see players sitting on tons of darkness or gemstones with barely anything upgraded. I would also say that when you're just starting out, prioritizing those types of encounters, especially those that reward darkness, is a better long-term play than anything else. Mirror of Night upgrades are essential to getting through the game, and by focusing on that currency, you're going to gain access to things like increased damage, more death defiance, and increased boon rarity. It's easy to get sucked into the whirlwind of the game, lose track of the big picture, but by focusing on those roguelike elements, you'll end up furthering your goals and getting one step closer to victory. Before we go any further, I want to take a second to thank all of our Patreon supporters. If you like Legacy Gaming and want to help us out even more, consider donating a few bucks to the channel. Every penny we make goes right back into the community, so check out the links below and sign up today. One of the unsung heroes of Hades, the Bloodstone, doesn't get the attention it deserves. In conjunction with some Mirror of Night upgrades, this can be one of the most potent weapons in your arsenal, but it takes some conditioning to use effectively. It really is all about the boon, what you choose to infuse your Bloodstone with. If you're using Boiling Blood, you need to make sure you choose a Bloodstone boon that's going to take advantage of the increased damage. Some boons, like Demeter's, turn your Bloodstone into turrets, which don't give you the benefit of the Mirror perk. You have to be careful, but you also have to think about what your build needs. If you're looking for pure damage, consider Ares, Demeter, or Artemis boons. But if you're looking for utility or damage reduction, well then Athena, Poseidon, and Aphrodite are great choices. It takes some getting used to, working Bloodstones into your rotation, but I'll reference back to the first point I made in this video. Bloodstones allow you to deal damage from a distance, a much safer way to inflict damage and get through an encounter, so prioritize them and their effects moving forward, and I promise you'll see a difference. There are 6 weapons you can use in Hades, and they're all pretty different. Mix in the aspects and you're looking at over a dozen unique playstyles. It's easy to go about your business the same way each run, picking the same boons and trying to muscle your way to victory, but each weapon synergizes differently with the various boons in the game. If you're using something like the Spear with a slower attack rate, you may not want to focus on status stacking boons like Dionysus for your primary attack. It's a nuanced relationship, and it takes a lot of practice to understand how it all works. Faster attack speeds are great for stacking status debuffs and keeping those debuffs on enemies, while slower, more powerful weapons gain more benefits from critical hits and raw damage increases. It's also important to think about your end game goal, Hades. You can stack all the multi-target boons and upgrades you want, but at the end of the day, he's still going to be standing in your way, and you have to think about that the second you start your run. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, Codiak, how will this boon help me defeat the last boss? And it helps almost every time. It's an easy mistake thinking you want more chain lightning or AoE abilities, but I promise you, you can get through encounters without those crutches. I'm not saying avoid them completely, they're fantastic, but just remember, the God of Death is always going to block your way, so think through each decision you make with that in mind, and more often than not, it will go just fine. If you're not using the Pierced Butterfly, the Thanatos Keepsake, you have to ask yourself, why the heck not? This item increases your overall damage by a certain percentage each time you clear an encounter without taking damage. If you play smart, you can easily increase your damage by 20 to 30% before reaching the final boss, and that's a huge boost to your overall damage potential if you really think about it. However, there is a catch with this keepsake. You need to keep it equipped the entire run to gain the most benefit. Unlike other keepsakes, the Pierced Butterfly is working for you from the very beginning, and even if you're not clearing every room without taking damage, there's a good chance you're getting through enough that it's making a difference. Even a 10% increase to your damage is a game changer, and honestly, do you really need that extra 50 life from the spiked collar? Probably not. The Pierced Butterfly is easily one of the best keepsakes in the game, but remember, keep it active the whole run and start your run with it right from the get-go. This one change goes a long way, and I guarantee that you'll see results. And there you have it, friends, 5 major mistakes I see players making in Hades and some resolutions to fix them. If you guys enjoy our Hades content, don't forget to leave us a like and consider subscribing so you never miss a new video. And don't forget you can join us on Discord. Our community of over 6,000 is spread across dozens of great games, so click that link below and join today. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.